The reason being that obviously I have been very active within the tourism space.
Okay.
And for those who are actually monitors of the space, even including the old authorities in the tourism space, i.e. Akwesi Ajuman,
Yeah.
they know the active role that I've played. So usually, of course, people would expect that you would transition into the space. And so when I got informed that I've been appointed to the tourism Ghana Tourism Development Company,
Yeah.
I wasn't quite surprised because it's something that that when there is confidence in you, you could be called upon at any point in time to serve the country. So that is the initial reaction. But of course, you wouldn't know because there are other competent people who could actually serve the same role. And so for them the leadership, and i.e. the president, to think that perhaps you probably could do it, I think it's an honor, and I thank him for that. And so yes, I could say yes and no.
How did you get the news?
Yeah, as usual, let me say that I live in the university 24/7. I mean, people who know me on campus, they know that I'm on campus 24/7. I'm always on campus.
Yeah.
So I was on campus when I got a call from the Flagstaff House or the Jubilee House to say that, hi, Prof, I have a letter for you. And I thought, sometimes I get letters from the, the top places. So I said, oh, can you please give it to, courier to send to the university, which is my address, That the gentleman says, I think it will be better for you to come over and collect it. I said, oh, really? Okay. So then I sensed that, because at that time there were people being mentioned, etc. And you hear, on Twitter, I live on Twitter 24/7 anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'll be monitoring.
Exactly. Yeah. So you hear people, getting these things. So then it clicked to me. I mean, it clicked that perhaps it's not the usual invitations, that come to this function, come to that function. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll come over. And then it dawned on me. So earlier it was a little bit normal feeling, but then later it comes to you that, look, this is not the usual. You have to prepare yourself, psych yourself up, for a much more bigger role. So when I got to the place, in fact, something should I say unique or surprising happened when I had to, you have to sign an undertaking, etc. So the position was there, and then I wrote University of Ghana. The gentleman said, sorry, this is not University of Ghana. Exactly. And I said, please, this is CO GTDC. I said, oh, I'm sorry. And then I changed it. So I can tell you, I was a little bit, off-taken somehow.
Yeah. So how do you feel moving from academia to a politically appointed office like yours?
I think I feel honored. I'm very grateful to the president, obviously to the leaders of the country. You have quite a lot of, competent people in the spaces, that they could appoint, but it felt that perhaps you can do the work. And so I feel quite, honored by that. And it also gives me that kind of the weight of responsibility that I couldn't disappoint.
Okay.
And so in my mind, I have to serve well. Obviously to honor the president for the confidence, the many people. And I feel that I have a bag load of goodwill, because I get a lot of messages, and each one of them say, I know you can do this.
Yeah.
I know you can do this. I know you can do this. All right. Obviously, there's a tendency for you to think that, oh, yeah, that's what people naturally will say. But you think that with the kind of expectation that people have for you, even when you haven't been appointed, this is genuinely people's expression that they know you can do it. All right. And so I feel quite honored, for that responsibility. And I also feel that I need to let my students, especially, understand that what I teach them in class is exactly what I think could be done.
Okay.
Which means that I have to really show them that whatever I thought them was true.
Exactly. From theory to practical.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and I said earlier, sometime that one of my friends that I grew up with in Takrady, he said to me, I said, they be at the radio, the TV, the one who chap.
But I mean,
now what's better than and I tell Michelle, I say, yes, I'm going to do it for you to have a look at it and for you to be able to understand that, yeah, it's possible. So, yeah, I feel honored. I thank the country for the confidence, and I feel that it is the opportunity, for me to contribute to the betterment of this country, and definitely that's what I'm going to do.
Beautiful. Now, take us through the journey from your first day at GTDC till now. What has happened?
Well, the first day in the office, obviously, fantastic people. Let me pay that acknowledgement. Let me acknowledge my staff. They've been amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
They've been fantastic. Very cooperative. You hear things from other places, but I think I've got a completely different place.
Wow.
It's a very small team. Let me say that it is not as big as other places. Obviously, the capacity of GTDC cannot be compared to other places. And so you have a very small family team, if I should put that word, to describe the kind of bond they have. But you could see that because of their nature of the work and how they've traveled, there hasn't been enough going on. And so it is my responsibility to really bring in the mojo, bring in the sense of, can do, to do, that place. And so when I got to the place, I said to myself, I need to first of all understand the mandate. I need to understand, what else I could do to prep up the place, for example. So the first thing was to, and let me say that I had very competent team. And when I say team, not necessarily those that I met, but my own network, my TA, for example, is a fantastic guy. Chris, he's sitting here, my PhD. My PhD student, he's my TA. He's very, very competent. He could immediately do what I say, do that, let's do that. All right. I also have to pay tribute to Lawyer Tanko. He's like my brother. We date back about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Way back in Sheffield, and he was also with me. So you find that your network, obviously Eugene and other, your network around you become the bedrock, for you to, kind of journey on, or for you to springboard, what you want to do. So it can feel lonely from the beginning.
Yeah.
But if you have a strong network around you, you are assured or reassured of, kind of getting started. And then I must also admit I had, a very good briefing from the former CEO.
Okay.
He took his time. Kojenchi took his time to really, tell me what it is. And in fact, we met twice. Informal one session, and then a formal session.
Beautiful.
He took his time to take me through what is available, and make me understand what the projects available are, etc. Of course, the rest of it, it's a document that you've got to read.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I took in that much, and then I had to reconceptualize what the mandate is, because everybody knows that GTDC is a commercial arm of the tourism space, those who follow tourism. It was almost like created as a private entity. So when you look at the mandate of GTDC, it's limited by shares.
Prof, we will get there.
Okay.
That's a different chapter of this whole
Okay.
conversation.
Okay.
But before we
Yeah.
get there, so
Yeah.
when your appointment came,
Yeah.
some people were like, "Hey, is he NDC? Hey, is he NDC? We didn't know." Are you NDC? For those of us who don't know.
Absolutely to the left. You know, when I say absolutely to the left, I'm left leaning in terms of my ideological
Ideological,
positions.
okay.
You know, the conversation about party affiliation is, it depends on how you want to define it.
All right.
You know, if you want to define it by ideological leanings, then you would associate me to the NDC because of my ideological beliefs. When you want to define it by membership, somebody would say political membership means that you hold a card,
Yeah.
etc. Then, of course, that is also another conversation. But I can tell you that I'm absolutely left-leaning. Now, where it gets confusing is, to many people, is about my writings. You know, I have a lot of my PhD study was on MPP. You know, which is a public record. I mean, from 2004, 2003, 2004, when I was
Yeah.
doing my master's, I studied about Kufuor's, winning election,
All right.
and that actually brings me into the domain of politics and political marketing. And I always say that the tourism marketing actually came before the political marketing, right? So I studied MPP. I've studied MPP for more than 20 years in terms of campaigning and strategy. All right. Along the line, obviously, you would write about both parties when you are a political, scholar, or
Yeah.
when you're a scholar in political studies.
Yeah.
But in terms of my PhD and my master's thesis, I think that I can claim that I've studied the MPP more than anybody else in terms of formal studies,
Okay.
in terms of their campaign strategies. I wrote a paper on Kufuor, which is called The Man-Made President, and I was articulating how Jacob H.A. Bilamte of blessed memory packaged and actually presented Kufuor to the Ghanaian public. Very interesting, paper. And so it depends on how you want to look at it.
Okay, if I should go further, are you a card-bearing member of the NDC?
Well, I have had a card of NDC in the past, but I haven't been ardent,
Okay.
if I should put it. Yeah, and that is actually a record that is there.
Great. Did you in any way contribute to the campaign of the NDC in the just
Yeah.
ended election, if you like? Did you contribute in any
I'm sure
way
that you know that I'm a
with your political
I'm sure
marketing
you know that I'm a
strategy?
political strategist.
Yes.
Yeah, as a political strategist, you actually strategize for quite a lot of people,
Okay.
but you can't disclose who your your
Prof,
client is. You can't disclose who your client is, So, and that's a measure of professionalism. Do you get it? As a political strategist, you strategize for people. You strategize for political parties. So over the years, I've actually strategized, for quite an array of people, but I cannot disclose who my client has been.
Thank you very much. Joe 99.7 FM.
Yeah, thank you.
Mami Efua Wajeto is listening. She says hi.
Hi, yeah, Mami.
Yeah.
Fantastic
CEO of
woman.
GTA.
CEO
Yeah.
of GTA.
Yes.
Amazing lady,
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's been in the field for quite some time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
She was
And I'm
here
blessed.
2 weeks ago or so. Yeah. 2 weeks
I'm
ago.
blessed to actually work along her. You have a very good will of people,
Yeah.
that you're working with. And I'm very sure that with that collaboration, you will see some differences.
Awesome. 05511119997. It's the WhatsApp number. Do you have any question for Professor Kobby Mensah? He's our guest today on Showbiz A-Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie, and already some people are sending in their messages. But before we get on to the other side of the discussion or conversation, let me bring in Uncle Ken. Yeah, Uncle, Prof is here.
Interesting discussion.
Prof is here.
I mean, I have already received 2 messages
Yeah.
Oh,
from
nice.
people saying to me, tell Prof to admit he's ending.
Yeah.
You know, I already have.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. Prof, you've been at the university for over 10 years, yeah?
Correct.
Over 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, you are the University of Ghana Business School?
Absolutely.
Yes. So how does it feel? What does it mean that you're no longer going to lecture in the university?
No, it doesn't mean that.
Since with this appointment,
Yeah.
are you still going to undertake your duties in the university?
Yes, I mean, it depends. You scale down. You know, there are routes for,
And
what
the
do you call
university is going to allow that?
it? No, so let me explain. When you have an appointment, don't forget they are government agencies.
Yeah.
So the route for you are one. You can take what is called leave of absence. You can take what is called sabbatical.
Okay.
And then you can take what is called secondment. All right. Each of them have implications. So currently, I'm taking secondment, and not only me, most of the colleagues that actually. So you take secondment, it means you draw down on your university responsibilities.
Okay.
Oh,
All
okay.
right? That's right. So you draw down on your university responsibilities
When you say
And-
draw down,
in terms of workload.
and the university is going to accept that?
Of course, it's a procedure.
Okay. So
And
that
then-
means you get paid from 2 different sources?
No. You don't get paid for it. You can't get paid 2 different sources.
Yeah.
It's the same government.
It's the same government.
Yeah, so you get paid by one. So when you are seconded, the payment is actually by the institution that you've been seconded to.
Okay.
Okay.
So you relieve
Okay.
the other.
Okay.
So that's what
so
it
you
means by-
relieve the
yeah.
other.
Exactly. You can't take
Okay.
2 payments.
Okay.
Okay. So it
That's
means
illegal.
Okay.
So that means that even if you're going to still do partial work at the university, you're not going to get
Yeah, because
paid.
it's the same government. Yeah.
You're not going to get paid for
Absolutely.
that, but you
Absolutely.
get paid
Yeah.
from GTDC.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's
right.
interesting. And the other thing, Kwame,
Yeah.
before he came,
yeah,
we were talking about a lot of people not knowing
the difference between
the difference between GTDC
And GTA.
GTA.
Yeah.
You know, I checked out and found out that the GTDC is your main, like you said,
Mandate.
you are supposed to promote and mobilize resources for investment in tourism, undertakings, and services. You are to seek equity, participation in joint ventures with Ghanaians, as well as foreign concerns and individuals, excuse me, in tourism development projects.
yeah,
You are to undertake tourism investments and development of tourism infrastructure. And then the bit that gets me, Kwame, you are to see to the management of tourist sites. It's also part of your.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in the past, talking about management of tourist sites, we've only been hearing from the GTA about those sites. You know, unless Kwame, maybe you have been hearing from
you are older than I am, so you are the best.
from GTDC. About, isn't that conflicting?
No, it's not conflicting.
Okay.
So let me.
So
explain.
let's go there now.
Yeah.
So you draw the distinction between the mandate of
So the GTA is the regulator, which means that GTA is the supervisor of the industry.
Yeah.
It regulates compliance, but also it promotes, tourism.
Oh, GTA.
Yes.
Okay.
It promotes tourism. Now, when you look at the framework, and don't forget, I've been in industry since 1999. I've been with MNJ Travel and Tour, Cito,
Oh, okay.
thereabout. So
Okay.
it dates back
Wow.
in a very, very long time. Now, GTA at GTB then, that's Ghana Tourism Board, was to promote tourism. And then they hived off the private sector operation side as GTDC in 1972. The reason why they have it off is because as a regulator, you can't operate commercially. all right, that is receiving
okay.
fees and getting profits. Are you with me?
So
Yeah.
GTA
Beth
being
GTDC.
they cannot do what you're saying.
Yeah, they cannot do profit oriented.
The commercial aspect of
commercial, yeah. So the commercial aspect of it
Aspect.
was hived off
To
to form
GTDC.
GTDC,
I see.
which is 1972. Now,
I'll tell you something, Prof. Sorry to cut you. Kwame, back in the late 80s, I came back to Ghana from the UK,
yeah.
and a relative of mine was working at GTDC.
Oh, okay.
And GTDC back then, I'm talking about around 88, 89, was situated somewhere where latex foam is, that area of Accra. And what they were doing there at that time was selling flour, sugar, and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
GTDC
Then,
in the 80s. Okay, to the public. So when Prof says that they undertake
the commercial
aspect, that's why I'm bringing this up. Because back then, that's what GTDC was.
So
I'm not
it's in
familiar.
tandem
You
with.
might not be.
Yeah,
because
I'm not familiar.
You might have been in school.
Absolutely, not in
Still
a primary
school.
school.
Yes,
Yeah.
by then. So
absolutely, yeah.
I can understand that,
Yeah.
that argument.
Yeah.
That they are for the commercial aspect
Yeah,
of
exactly.
tourism.
So let me say that at the time, the private sector didn't have capacity to engage, especially tourism is a recent commercialization, in most African countries. If you look at our own history, I think that, it became bigger when the World Bank supported Ghana for that 5-year, tourism plan.
Yeah.
Which the result of which we birthed Panafest, etc. We renovated all those the forts and castles, etc. Right, and so it has always been that GTDC is the commercial arm of it. Over the years we've developed private capacity.
Okay.
You have a lot of private sectors, owning travel companies, owning rentals, etc.
Right.
And that is what has dwindled somehow GTDC's, capacity, because the role that it was supposed to play is now being fully blown, taken away by the private sector. So this is how I conceptualize. So for me, it looks like GTDC is playing in a field where now the people have developed competencies, all right? Which means that we now have to demonstrate to the private sector new avenues, all right,
Okay.
of tourism competence.
All right.
So I took my mandate and divided into 4 strategic strands.
All right.
All right. 1, development and innovation in technology, development and investment in technology and innovation, which means that I now have to demonstrate from a GTDC's perspective tourism innovation and technology, so that the private sector can then play along. All right. I now have to move into what I call cultural assets. All right. Over the years, we haven't paid attention to cultural asset preservation. And when I say cultural assets, I mean our folklores, etc. Although we have a folklore board.
Yeah.
But GTDC, being the commercial arm of the tourism, ministry, has to demonstrate competencies in how do we preserve, from a modern technological perspective, cultural assets, all right, and help those, agencies to do that, all right. And so one of our mandates, as I said, is to bring in ideas on cultural asset preservation. If, for example, Hollywood comes to Ghana and say, we want to feature Anansi in our movie, how much is the right? Are you able to tell them?
No.
Yeah, because we haven't had that conversation, how to value our cultural assets, all right? We might have, but it probably haven't had that comprehensive approach to that. So it's about time we move into those conversations. I always say that the price of cocoa is actually priced wrongly, because if grain of rice, right?
Yeah.
A bag of rice could be counted by grain. We probably have to count our cocoa by the bean, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to count the value of our kente cloth by the string. Okay. So if a whole kente cloth, for example, will be like 10,000, strings in them.
Right.
How much is one string of kente?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And GTDC has to lead that conversation. And I talk about human capital. All right. Again, development and investment in human capital, for example. All right. Top level tourism and hospitality, expertise like PCOs, that is professional conference organizers, etc. How do we actually train people in those capacities so that people can actually organize like AU summit or AU conferences? These are all, under tourism, hospitality and tourism, which we call MICE, right?
Yeah.
And we need the competence. So if you take, for example, Hot Cats, which is the
The
agency
hotel,
responsible for training,
Yeah.
they may not have the capacity to perhaps, do that training. So how does GTDC come to work with Hot Cat, for example, to grow that
Right.
competency?
Right.
All right, to do that. And then I talk about investment and development in physical tourism infrastructure. So the kind of thing that you talk about, management of the tourist sites, working with private sector for hotel building, for amusement
So your
parks.
company is in charge of that.
Absolutely. So GTDC is in charge of doing those things, all right?
Okay.
And so for me, I have broadened with the team. I sat down with the team, management team. I said, look, when people say development investment in tourism, everybody's thinking physical structures, like working with private sector to build hotels or to manage tourist sites. We have to broaden the mandate, all right? So that we say it is not only limited to that, but it's also about technology and innovation. It's also about human capital. It's also about, physical infrastructure. It's also about, cultural assets, for example. And that's what we're actually doing currently.
But how do you mobilize resources for your investment?
Yeah. So when they say mobilize resources, you mean that, first of all, we are undertaking from my team, my management team, we are beginning to undertake what we call tourism, profiling. Ghana, tourism investment profiling. All right.
Yeah.
And so we are profiling all the regions and identifying tourism potentials. Currently, I think last 2 weeks, I met Prof. Lade was a fantastic, man, a professor, all right, who has a place for ecotourism, for example.
Okay.
So he met the team and he was explaining to us what they have already done. So my job is to profile that place, all right, and meet investors who want to invest in places like that, ecotourism, and say, we have this place in the Volta region, for example. It has this potential, it has that potential. If you have the resources, i.e. the money to undertake, and you're interested in that, this is the kind of thing we can do. All right. So I mobilize investors around, spaces or tourism areas that people are interested in or people own, and then we develop that place, and then there is a shareholding arrangement between the government and the private sector. That's how we do it.
Do you also provide financial assistance to businesses within
That's what
tourism?
the mandate says. And the mandate says that we need to provide assistance, but don't forget, it's about mobilizing to provide.
So it's not like giving money to enterprises within
From
the
what you
tourism
said,
ecosystem.
do you think GTDC has the capacity to give money? It's a tough ask, right? So we have to lead, all right? So that's what I'm saying. If you have the project, for example, we're sitting down with you and profiling that project and then leading you to look for resources to develop that. But GTDC itself wouldn't hand over money to you. That would be a tough ask for people to do that. I mean, it would be a tough ask for the agency to do that. But we would lead you to put up, profile for that particular space that you have, or that particular project that you have, to seek for support, to build that one.
All right, Joy 99.7 FM. We have in the studio a special guest, Professor Kobby Mensah. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Development Company. Now, I'm very sure you now know the difference between GTDC and GTA. GTA regulates the space. GTDC is the investment wing of our tourism industry here in Ghana. This message says, "Hello, Kwame, please. Prof is someone I cherish so much, and I believe he can turn the tables around in that sector. I believe you and all Ghanaians, I and all Ghanaians, we really we rally around him to push up this in his life from Great Jabati, West." Okay, Jabati, thank you so much for your message. Another one says, "Professor Kobby Mensah is undoubtedly the best candidate for the position. His vast knowledge, expertise, and specialization in tourism are unparalleled. Attending his lectures on tourism marketing at the Ghana Premier Business School is consistently an enriching and insightful experience. My name is Levi Kosa, the Catalysts." These are some of the thoughts coming from our listeners.
Was my student.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful one there. Prof, what are some of the challenges you've spotted with our tourism industry?
Okay, one of the things I see is that I think it's now that we are realizing that tourism is business. We never saw tourism as business. We actually looked at it as leisure. We never paid attention to it. And so we didn't commercialize, and whatever you don't commercialize, you don't actually sustain.
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole idea of sustainability is about, part of it is commercialization.
Yeah.
Because you need to have it as a going concern. Any entity that does not actually have a regular stream of revenue cannot be a going concern.
Yeah.
All right. Unless, of course, you have, let's say, an NGO that is funded by a commercial, entity, but you need to have a certain revenue streams, and for most of the time, we never had revenue streams for our tourism space.
Okay.
So we were using it as, just, I don't know how to put it, and so that was a challenge. Even now that we're seeing it as commercial, we still haven't fine-tuned.
Exactly.
We haven't fine-tuned the procedures in order to, ensure that. Look, when I actually assume the leadership of GTDC, there are projects that they're undertaking, but they don't have what I call products that they are selling day to day. So you don't have the streams of revenue that can keep the place. Projects are not products, you see. So you can be managing a tourist site. The site itself is a raw material.
One of your mandates.
Exactly.
To manage the sites. Yeah.
The site itself is a raw material. The site is not a product. So I tell my student, look, if I give you, for example, the beach is not a product. The beach is a raw material. You have to convert it to the product and services. So what do you use the beach for on Monday? What do you use the beach for Tuesday? What do you use the beach for Wednesday? All right? But we only use the beach for weekends.
Right.
So Monday to Thursday, the beach is there. You have to create a product. All right? So you have a Monday beach, which is something else. Tuesday beach, which is something else, and then Thursday, etc. And that's what we're trying to do. So we've been trying to create, product. You can please have a look at it.
Okay.
We've been trying to create product.
Okay.
So that the office or the GTDC can be active through whilst we pursue the projects.
All right.
Whilst you talk about the center of the world or talk about the Asimansu.
I have a question on Center of the World.
Exactly. So we need to take tourism as a business, as a going concern.
Beautiful.
And create, business profile around them, i.e. create a product, create a pricing strategy, create a distribution, strategies, have your pricing, etc. So now that we're getting it, the private sector is doing a lot.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I say to myself, Okay, when you take a festival, for example, Homo, for example,
Yeah.
right, have we reviewed the way we organize Homo
No.
to ask ourselves, can we make more revenues out of that?
Out of it,
And that's
yeah.
one of the things that we're introducing at GTDC.
Beautiful.
We have to be a consultant to the traditional councils and say you can organize Homo
Right.
differently.
Right.
You can even sell the right of Homo to Kwame Dadzie
Yeah.
and say, okay, this year's Homo is about 2 million. All right, take
Yeah.
the right and organize it and give us the 2 million
Awesome.
upfront. That's what we're talking about. You know, so we need to start commercializing our tourism assets,
Right.
you know, so that we can make it more sustainable. And that's the conversation we're bringing on board.
I love that. I have a message here. More messages coming through. This one says, even though GTA is supposed to be the regulator and GTDC the player, how do they manage that, given the fact that GTDC is supposed to be a subsidiary of GTA? In that instance, what do they do when GTA actually veers off into playing under the banner of tourism promotion?
Kwame.
Example, I want to finish. Example, GTA is actually launching and undertaking activities that's more tourism development, taking charge of Marine Drive project, representing government on public-private partnerships like Movenpick, Kempinski, etc., instead of GTA. So this is a message from one of our listeners.
Kwame, who sent that message?
He didn't add his name.
Oh, he didn't add his name.
No.
Brilliant message, because it's exactly a question I wanted to pose.
Yeah.
If GTDC's
Yeah.
role is what Prof has just enumerated to
Yeah.
us, then it means that we have not been hearing about them when certain things are done.
It's more the
It's more the
GTA.
GTA
Yeah.
that comes
Yeah.
into the forefront.
I think I know why. It's because of the way the mandate was couched and how the previous people have understood it.
Okay.
And that's why I thought it was necessary for me to deconstruct, you know, the mandate
All
in
right.
order that I could make it much more,
Mm.
you know, if I should put the word relevant.
All right.
The phrase development investment was taken to be physical. When people hear investment, they think it's about building, you know, hotels
Right.
or
Right.
tour sites.
Right.
The physical structures.
Yeah, yeah. And then what complicates it is infrastructure.
Right.
So they say GTDC is responsible for development investment in tourism infrastructure.
Yes.
So now people think infrastructure means hard things like
The sites.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then maybe hotels. And
But
things
it's
like
The,
that.
tangible, the tangibles.
The tangibles.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It is also stated in your guidelines.
That's right.
Those tangibles
That's
are
right.
stated.
So, but that's a misnomer to understand infrastructure to mean physical,
All right.
tangible stuff. All right. If you say infrastructure, it's support system. You know, the word infrastructure means something that facilitates something to happen.
All right.
All right. And so, if you understand infrastructure to be physical
right.
structure, then you will be paying attention to only building hotels, managing tour sites, etc.
But that's what the law says. Or your mandate states.
Yeah, because the mandate states that, but you have to understand it
The mandate
in a manner
mentions
that you can stretch
infrastructure.
it.
So the mandate could have done better
Well,
by stating what you are trying
exactly,
to tell us.
but it's also
It's
about
by interpretation
your
of
interpretation.
your
Yeah,
infrastructure.
Because
exactly.
it leaves it to our wild interpretation.
exactly. So if I develop tourism competencies in terms of skills, you know, training or human capacity building
Yeah.
to make the industry better is an infrastructure.
Okay.
You know,
I
because
agree.
you put
Okay.
it in a support system. So you want to elaborate. You want to actually, you know, break down the mandate in a manner that can make you function in the different ways possible. All right, and I suppose obviously GTA, people say GTA is massive. It does that. You would also have to plug in because they have a job to do to make sure that tourism thrives in this country. All right, and so whoever takes the leadership of GTDC has to show that you can move alongside to
All
make
right.
sure that your presence is also felt. Do
Exactly.
you get it? So you have to plug yourself in. You know, if
But
you don't
you are
plug,
not an authority.
no, we're not
It's a
authority, but we
company.
have.
GTA
is an authority. But then you also have a certain mandate that makes you prominent, i.e., generate the resources to make sure
How do you do that?
Yeah, so that's the programming,
I like
and that's why
what you have.
Yeah, that's why the product in. So for the whole
situational analysis.
exactly. So for the whole month, I mean, Monday was 1 month.
Oh, exactly. Monthly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
I have focused my attention on building products and services,
Right.
All right.
and also what do you call costing them, i.e., making projections for the next 5 years, and that's what my team has been doing.
Right.
So far, we have created almost about 12 products,
Okay.
or more than that.
Mm.
All right. We're going to do night tours, Accra by night. We're going to do what I call science park tour. You know, we're going to do what do you call the Ghana Tourism Marketplace. You know, we're going to do. So you have to create product
Right.
in order that you can realize resources. In
Kwame,
order for you to invest in the project,
Project.
i.e., the physical
Yes.
project.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear what you've just said, Kwame. You know why? Because one of the questions I was going to ask Prof is, Prof was one of the first people who came out when the NDC's policy of a 24-hour
Economy.
Economy.
came, and his comment was,
This is amazing.
"This is a game changer."
Game changer. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Right? Yes,
You're absolutely right.
Prof was the first person.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yes.
Honestly, I was so elated when I heard that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now telling me about
Night
what,
tours.
The night.
thank you.
Yeah.
It ties into
It
that.
ties
Absolutely,
into
24
that
hour.
for me, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I mean,
brilliant. Yeah.
because I don't see why we can't have night tours. All right. Because even the days are so choked in Accra. All right. And I still don't understand why people close from work and they're rushing home 4 or 5 o'clock.
We are tired.
You can spend 2 hours in town. At least spend 2 hours in town.
we spend in traffic.
You know, so
Yes.
I'm a big fan of how do we can't tell people just spend 2 hours, but we can instigate them, you know, because you can't legislate for people to spend their 2 hours after work
Yeah.
in town,
Yeah.
but you can instigate them with programs. All right, so in our product we have something called TIF, tourism what do you call it? Tourism incentive vouchers, where companies can actually incentivize their staff for best performance.
Right.
And say spend 2 hours in so and so. All
Okay. All right.
Free lunch. I mean
At-
free
yes.
food and free drinks.
Right.
At a particular, it will instigate you to be there.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
we created
yeah.
TIF, which is tourism incentive voucher.
Wow.
All right. That we're going to work with partners to instigate people to spend 2 hours in town or 3 hours before they go home. You know, so we're doing quite a lot of things to realize not only the 24-hour but also the Black Star experience.
Experience.
You know,
Which is the banner.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We created what we call the GTM, the Ghana Tourism Marketplace, where we're putting everybody there, including the theater. All right, to have a common ticketing platform where people can buy their their theater tickets.
All right.
You know, the concert tickets,
I love that.
etc. There, you know, we're saying that the 1.3 million arrivals shouldn't use Booking.com. We are creating our own OTA, you know, online, you know, platforms, to make sure that all of them can go through the platform. That way, we can actually measure properly arrival. We're saying that the domestic tourism can be instigated properly by having the GTM, the Ghana Tourism Marketplace. So you're going to Kumasi and there's an offer. If you go to GTM, you're seeing a lot of offers. You can actually say, I have 5,000 cities. Where can I do? What can I go and what can I do with them? When you put it in the AI will actually curate with your 5,000 and say you can sleep in ABCD hotel,
Okay.
you can eat this, you can eat
Okay.
that, and that will fit into your 5,000. This is what, and that is an infrastructure.
Okay. So all these are in the offing.
Yeah, it's in there.
It's in
there.
this
It's in there.
Beautiful.
document.
And I
The
was
product
happy
does-
hearing you talk about the orange economy, how you rope in the creative industries into your.
Absolutely.
I was very happy about
Absolutely. I mean, those who are art center, or is it called the art center or the culture
that.
center?
Yes.
Where they
the art market.
art market.
Art-
Yeah.
art
We-
center.
we have
Yeah.
a shop front in the GTM where people can buy
Wow,
art
wonderful.
Yes.
and then in the US or wherever you are, you can buy from there and then be shipped to.
Let me bring in Chief Mumin. He's a poet and a playwright.
And that's
also.
why I'm telling
Okay.
you about the common ticketing platform, because I know Chief.
Chief.
I was in England when I saw his, his work, and I
Yeah.
tweeted at him that
Yeah.
I definitely want to.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prof.
And then he
To
responded.
meet him.
Yeah.
Chief.
Yes, Prof.
Prof is here.
Yes. Good,
No,
good
Prof is there.
afternoon.
I'm not the Prof. He's the Prof.
Well, good afternoon.
Prof is there.
To
Thank you so much.
my favorite term, to our cherished listeners, and it's good to be here today. I'm just coming from Association International Schools Lion King. I couldn't finish it, but I had to.
I'm going
dash.
after the show.
Yeah, going after the show. Great. Congratulations to the student, and it's good to be here. Uncle Ken, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Prof, good afternoon. Prof, have you by chance seen my appeal to the president?
I've seen it.
Okay.
A lot of people have sent me.
Yes. I'm love with the last one.
Absolutely, absolutely detailed. I wasn't surprised.
I'm left with the last
You're a
one.
detailed person.
I'm pushing for this industry. I was reviewing South Africa's tourism figures.
Yeah.
South Africa has almost 9 million visitations. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And they actually highlight Ghana as one of their success stories in terms of where they saw a lot of uptake. So last year in 2024, they had 36,000 Ghanaians traveling to South Africa. 36,000 Ghanaians, an increase about 150%, mainly because of the visa-free arrangement, as well as also the direct, flight available, right? So when a country is doing almost 9 million and you are doing 1.21 million, you realize that there's a long way to go. I think that we have to set ourselves an ambitious target. Without an ambitious target where at the very highest level, from the president to the ordinary man on the street, everyone is keyed in. Yes, we'll be doing a lot of initiative, but how do we measure progress? That's why I'm proposing that we have an ambitious target of 2 million visitors. Particularly if it's 2 million visitors, it means that it will go about 3 million, because I'm actually looking at heritage tourism, that particular aspect, which is, if you look at the figures, almost around 100,000. If we set ourselves an ambitious target of 2 million visitors at an average of $5,000 in terms of a rounded experience from logistics to experience, to everything, that could potentially be a $10 billion stimulus to the economy. Per my calculation, even if we do 10% of that, it is still going to be monumental. So it's something that I've been having discussions. People are saying that we can face it out. I'm saying that's fine. For me as a storyteller, what is important for me is the idea of a great ambition that really rallies all the characters within the space towards a particular mission. If you have a story without a particular, conflict and a particular plot, everything will be messed up. But when there's a plot and there's a conflict and it's pushing, then the story goes forward. It's the same with the story of our tourism, that we have to set ourselves a bold ambition. All the players in the industry under the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Art must say, how do we leapfrog our creative industry? So when we start from that, macro level, then we can discuss the micro. And for me, my proposal to discuss the micro is for government to become an aggregator, to account for marketing, to account for logistics, and to account, for, experiences. And for me, marketing is so important, because Ghana, we haven't really marketed ourselves, or the marketing we have seen is sort of organic. I mean, we're told that we had about $1 million we spent on the year of return marketing, and at least let's look at that result. Now imagine if we had $100 million budget sitting with Prof. Kobby Mensah to market Ghana. I mean, let's bring Morgan Freeman down to come and do a powerful Ghanaian documentary. Look at what Rwanda is doing. I mean, Rwanda is sponsoring league. It's not for nothing. I know people criticize that move, but they know what it is, what is in for it. So I feel that once we set ourselves an ambitious target, and we know that within 2 years we're hoping to bring these numbers of people, then it actually rallies everyone around a particular objective. And I listen to all the players. I listen to GT. I listen to GTDC. Everything they are saying is really about what one is saying. So all that I'm just trying to do is that we have to consolidate all of those efforts. We have to consolidate that effort into a great ambition. And for me, that ambition is to attract 2 million visitors within 2 years towards our 70th anniversary for heritage tourism. I think if we set ourselves that target, and now everyone is obsessed about that target, we're going to move the needle a bit. But if we're working in silos and there's no coordinated, vision that drives all of us, then yes, Kobby may do great in his role, but what about the value chain? Because for the entire industry to move, the entire value chain must move. So if you have one brilliant person in an institution, or two brilliant people, or three brilliant people, but you need 100 brilliant people in an institution to move, the frontiers, at the end of the day, if you don't have that ripple effect across the value chain, then those who have actually excelled will not meet their excellence. And now that what's his name? Jesse has come in.
Yeah.
If I draw from banking, when they give you your target, everyone has their target in the bank, and only one person meets their target, it will not help the bank itself meet their target. So one person may meet your target and say, yeah, I'm happy I've met my target, but is the bank really meeting its target? So my point is that time for us to aggregate our visions, time for us to aggregate our effort towards a particular ambition to move our tourism forward, and we're going to pursue this. Prof, I've already had some potential discussion on financing from some international agencies, so I think that I'll have to come and sit down with you and see how we can because this is actually under your domain, to lead this. But obviously, my pitch is that it has to be a cabinet level decision, so that the entire country is clocked in. And again,
all right, John 99.7 FM.
Because I see it as a low hanging fruit.
Can I make a
Prof.
certain point?
Yeah.
I don't think that they're working in silos. Government manifests in institutions. So if you take GTA is government. If you take GTDC is government.
Okay.
If you take GMMB is government. Government works in the agencies. All right. Now you have a certain, and as I said, if I talk about GTM, Ghana Tourism Marketplace, it is not only a GTDC initiative. It's a GTDC setting up a marketplace for GMMB, for GTA, for folklore, for etc. I think where we haven't perhaps done is taking the value chain and then the what we call the supply chain and doing an evaluation and say, have we optimized each of these? All right. So if you take the National Theatre, for example, how do you optimize the output of National Theatre? I.e., how many people are we drawing to the National Theatre in a year or in a quarter? Let's say we're drawing, let's say 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Can we draw more people? In fact, one of my students is actually doing a PhD on theatre. She's from the theatre department, and she's taking the PhD in my department as in marketing.
All right.
So I'm working with a colleague in theatre arts, and we're supervising her. And I tell her, what is the value in theatre? All right. So you have to look at the value framework and use it to, explain the work. How can we draw people to theatre beyond, the idea that, they're going to laugh, etc. All right. And so I think that we need to have a value chain analysis, or a supply chain analysis. Can we draw a lot more people? Can we optimize it? But I'm not sure that they are working in silos. They may have different names, as in Kwame Nkrumah, museum or whatever, or Bureau of Ghana Languages, or GTDC. They are all working towards the promotion of tourism and hospitality. But we probably want to do more in terms of evaluating our performances and asking ourselves, can we optimize? Perhaps that's the conversation.
Probably I may ask a question, maybe not in silos, but probably, towards because the point really here is towards a shared vision, right?
Absolutely.
And maybe it's early days yet because now the government is formulating itself. But the question I have is there a magic number?
No,
what
certainly.
Is our ambition for tourism in terms of arrival numbers?
The strategic paper, in fact, when I joined the university in 2013, the strategy for the 5-year strategy was aiming at 1 million arrival. There's a magic number. It's always been. The 1 million arrival, we never got it until recently. So we're always hovering around 800,000, 900,000. And thank God the year of return brought in 1 million plus.
Yeah.
So we hit that. So there's always that target. And I'm sure that in the coming in of the Black Star experience, which is not an event, but a continuous arrival, there will be that assessment of how do we scale the 1.3?
Okay.
All right, and definitely, I'm sure that will come in.
Prof,
straight.
let me just last one
Don't
before
worry,
you
don't
go.
worry.
You see,
Continue.
and I have a theory, and I think this probably you guys have to look at and do the research that our tourist numbers and the growth have almost been organic correspondent with the growth of our economy. Because as the economy grows to some extent, your country is opened up, businesses are coming in and all of that. But if we actually drill down to the actual, in quotes, when I say actual in quotes, and I know that tourism cuts across, right? In terms of how many people are actually coming for heritage tourism, I feel that the numbers have not been very astronomical, but corresponds with the general expansion of the economy. So when I say is there a magic number, it's more or less like a call for us to have a great ambition of what our tourism can be. Let's compare ourselves to the great tourist epicenters of Africa, North Africa, Egypt, South Africa. Let's look at their tourism numbers. Let's compare it to us and see, okay, if we're going to benchmark, considering Ghana's role, reputation, what we have done for Africa, what should we really be doing? Because if we are doing 800 and we move to about 1 million, it's almost organic to the growth, because we expect certain percentage of increase. So can we have a totally out of question ambitious number that says, look, let's increase from
the ambition has to be realistic.
To
let me also say something. We have misconceptualized what is tourism. All right, you know why we have misconceptualized? The universities, until recently, when the word MICE was going around, we haven't captured the conferences as tourists. The universities, currently in my office, we are creating a desk, and this is something I've been telling my VC. In fact, we met my VC last 3 days. Yeah, as in GTDC.
GTDC office.
I've been discussing this with my VC, and my VC is passionate about we doing this. Those days when I was, when I hadn't actually had an appointment, we're considering having tourism desk at the University of Ghana. So when we met VC was, Kobby, now you have the mandate. Are you doing this? I said, VC, I'm already doing this, and we've captured this. It's here. All right? It's in there, in the product. The universities have been organizing conferences for so many years. Have we captured them as tourism arrivals?
All right. They capturing the broader arrivals into the country.
Yeah, but we don't consider them as tourism arrivals. So I am sure that the numbers that we used to give, as in 500, 800 arrivals, never consider certain people as tourism arrivals.
Okay.
But now, how do we count our arrivals? Isn't it everyone who is coming into the country?
No, but that's not everybody coming in. Yes. Everybody coming in doesn't fall under tourism. You disclose. You disclose
the 1.2 or so.
No, it was GTA's number as in tourism arrivals. Yeah.
And what did that entail? The GTA.
Yeah, so that's the point I'm making. The country didn't conceptualize conferences those days as tourism arrivals. All right. So academic conference. So academic conference. So we are organizing, let's say, business schools organizing academic conference, and the arrivals might not be considered as tourists.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Okay.
So we may conceptualize. Even in domestic tourism, do people count funerals as tourism? But when you look at the definition of tourism, it is about when you take a step. All right.
Sure you want to talk about it?
Funeral tourism.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Tourism.
Last year it came up,
Yeah, it came up.
So we need to sit back and say, let's look at definition of tourism. In fact, when you look at the definition, the WTO's definition, the UN WTO's definition of tourism, at a particular distance where you actually spend and not to take money from that particular place, is tourism.
So we can have funeral tourism.
Not that we can have
funeral.
The idea of funeral, going for a funeral at a place and spending there is supposed to be captured as a tourism spend.
Right.
But we're not capturing that. So that's what I'm saying, that perhaps we must sit and reevaluate
Look at our data
and ask ourselves, what is tourism activity? And reconceptualize and start capturing those things. And that's why I think perhaps the Ghana tourism marketplace actually affords us the space to do that. Because if you book, let's say you're going for a funeral at Chichore and you book a hotel there, all right, perhaps that can be captured. So we probably hadn't taken a holistic, comprehensive view of what is tourism, even domestic.
Okay.
All right, in order that for us to be sure of the numbers that we're getting. And I
So
think
that means that our domestic figures might even be higher
might be even higher
Higher.
than what
than
we're
what we are
conceptualizing.
conceptualizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
That's the point.
Joe 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. We're having a conversation with Professor Kobby Mensah, who is the Chief Executive Officer of GTDC, Ghana Tourism Development Company. We're in the studio with Uncle Ken, Chief Mumin, and just joining us, we have Jesse Japon, who is Brand Strategy Consultant. Before I get to him, let me take these
congratulate him
thoughts.
for coming
This one says, I've followed Dr. Kobby Mensah for some time now, and I admire his knowledge of the tourism industry. I have no doubt he will champion the needed reforms to make Ghana the preferred destination in Africa and create high demand. I wish him all the best. By the way, Dr. Kobby Mensah and I were in South Africa 2 weeks ago promoting and marketing Ghana at Meetings Africa 2025. This is George A.C. from Labadi Beach. Okay, so George A.C. is the head of sales and marketing at Labadi Beach Hotel. This one says, I think to streamline the tourism sector, it's essential for GTDC and GTA to clarify the roles, improve collaboration, and develop clear strategies to avoid overlapping responsibilities and ensure effective resource use. I know Prof has started all these. Levi Kosa, the catalyst again. Okay. It's a big up, Kwame and Uncle Ken. Very insightful conversation right there. Thank you so much for your message. 05511119997. Let me get to Jesse. Hello, Jesse.
Yes,
Good
sir.
to have you back. And we have Prof here. He's yours
Yes.
for the next 10 minutes.
I mean, Prof and I
dates back.
sit on the same side of the integer,
Nice.
Absolutely.
not the political integer.
Okay.
I'm a neutral at heart.
Brands.
But for me,
And Prof is also a neutral.
he's not a neutral. He says he's a Cadbury member, but he hasn't paid his dues for a while. That's what he meant, actually.
Yeah.
Is that what he
Oh, that's what he said.
that's what
he
he
said.
meant.
He used to be a car.
Cadbury member.
And if you don't pay your dues for a certain
You know,
period,
You lose your membership.
You lose the membership.
Anyway,
I'm just- I'm
I'll get into that conversation later, but yeah. You know,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah, Jesse.
I start with this.
All right.
Everyone is running.
All right.
And I like what Chief Moment said, that the government is forming itself. And so we need to give the government some space.
yeah.
And I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
But in giving the government some space, those who are running on behalf of the government need to understand that they have to run with their colleagues. It's not for nothing that the government felt it was important to go to Kempinski to organize the National Economic Forum. Dialogue. It was Conference Center.
Conference
Yes,
Center.
apologies. And I think for me it was important that I think the government understood that it's important to have the key sectors of the economy coming together so that the plug and play works better. Now, I would have honestly wished that before we even interviewed Prof in the studio now, the Tourism Ministry, GTA, GTDC, the entire stakeholders of what he's calling the orange economy, everybody else, they come together to lock themselves in a room to say, how do we answer the question of delivering the numbers that Chief Moment is asking for now? And the reason I ask this, the reason I start with this point is this, that some of the solutions that Prof is professing now are sensible solutions. But how does he know that the others are not thinking about same?
No, but
If I could.
there's a
Yeah.
point. Sorry. You wouldn't know that the
Yes.
ministry had met, would you?
Okay, so again,
Yeah, we
again,
had already met
again,
before the
and
sun.
I would address this. I would address this.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is that there is no statement coming from the ministry saying that when we, and again 3 weeks ago when we met, we're clear in our minds that John's plan is a very good one. That he's appointing individuals who are technically gifted and also individuals who comes. And we made the
John?
point that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Okay.
And we also made a point the last time that it's absolutely important that you carry the people along with you. So he says that they have met, and I don't doubt that. But go to the Ghana Tourism Authority website, right? And you read this. And again, it still has Akwesi Agyemang's photo there. So maybe they need to make some changes there. Yeah. So the GTA was established in 2011. And then I skipped to the last paragraph. The GTA's mandate is to regulate the tourism industry, and it doubles as a destination management organization responsible for marketing and promotion of tourism, both locally and internationally. First question, where do you draw the line between what GTA does and what GTDC does? So if he says as an example that they've met, I respect that and I agree. But when they did meet, how did they cure this mischief? And again, when I say mischief, I don't mean a problem. The lawyers would say a mischief is a problem that's supposed to be dealt with or answered. So how did they cure this mischief? Now, my advice, honestly, is that if indeed they have met, had a strategic session, and they fully aligned at all fronts, it would be great that we are carried along properly on this journey. The second thing for me is this, that stating the challenge. In my view, when you pick the GTDC's mandate as you try to elicit from Prof, good responses. Part of it says that to promote and mobilize resources for investment in tourism undertakings and services. We all know that investment attraction is not easy. It's a difficult one. We've always said that sometimes a program like this affords the opportunity for us to amplify and support. So one of the things that I would hope that I get from this conversation as Prof and the team are curating their products is what's his plan for how to attract the right investment for the sector. And again, the investment could be coming from the government or anybody else. So I think for me it will be good to get a sense of that. The third one for me, which again is quite interesting, and I think he himself touched on it very, very well, is that to seek equity participation in joint ventures with Ghanaian as well as foreign concerns. What does that mean exactly?
Okay.
Look, I just want to be able to tease them.
Okay.
Point well. What does that mean exactly? So does it mean that when a player comes into the sector, we must always equitize the player with the Ghanaian? How do we ring fence the Ghanaians in the sector? Is there protectionism in the sector? Again, we need, because you see, you're giving him an opportunity, and I love this because consistently we have never put GTDC at a very strong footing.
Yeah.
And I love this session because it allows us to be able to say, how do we support him fully? Next for me is the picture of success. And I can't say this enough. You might have a manifesto, and when you start running, or you may be appointed, and when you start running, you realize that the situation on the ground might be a bit different. So you might set a picture of success, which says that at the end of the 4-year window, as GTDC, these are the 5 things we'll be able to achieve. I'm very hopeful that maybe at the end of this conversation, it will be clear to all of us that if Prof and the team achieve nothing at all, they'll be able to tick these 5 boxes to say, these are the 5-6 things that we believe that we'll be able to achieve. The next one for me is that Prof and I, again, like I said, are cut from the same cloth from a brand point of view.
Yeah.
So when Prof says that he says, okay, we're creating products, and I'm creating products for who? Who's the product for? This night markets product, who is it for? Because for me, who? And he understands exactly what I'm saying.
The target market.
So as an example, if he says to us that in the first 1 month, we've perused a lot of data, we understand what the market is looking for, and the market is asking for 5 or 6 things based on A, B, C, D, then I can appreciate that the science behind the product is landed well. Maybe he has it. I'm not saying that he doesn't have it. But I'm just saying that to put the products on the table without a clear understanding of what the thinking is behind. I'm not saying that.
I get the point you're making,
Yes.
but you see,
Prof, I wish you note down the point so you come.
No, but the reason
Okay.
I'm laughing is that, obviously, as a consummate marketer,
Yes.
you wouldn't expect me to create product out of the blues.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, the when it comes to communication. You might want to say the top, what we call the headline stuff, without necessarily going into the nitty-gritty. Do you get the point? Now, you will then, if you want the detail, then you would want to peruse from a different angle. I mean, there's a conversation that has a space of a little bit of time, all right, a certain time period. So you might not go into how you came by doing this, all that. It might even make the communication boring, all right? So you do the headline stuff. And then if somebody who has an interest to know that would actually want to get into the detail of it. But certainly you can't create a product without having your target market. You wouldn't have it, all right? And certainly not from a consumer marketer like me. You understand the point I'm making? Yeah. Again, the issue of, there were some issues that
Prof,
have to be corrected.
would you rather we come back so you answer all the?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, he can deal
he can
with it.
go on.
It's fine.
I-
He can
okay.
deal with
The
it.
Comfortable with that?
The GTDC
Okay,
wasn't
Prof, go on.
established in 2000. Did he say 2000?
I'm reading from their website.
No,
If they are wrong,
it's
I'm wrong.
It's
Yeah.
wrong. GTA.
Can I read it for you
GTA
again?
is older than the ministry. Remember?
When it was a board.
Yeah, you remember GTA was GTB.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and that is the first that was set up.
Yeah.
In terms of tourism organ.
Would I be able to finish
Yeah.
at some point? Okay.
Yeah, in terms of tourism organ in the country. So technically speaking, the GT actually birthed the ministry, because the ministry, Ghana as a country never had a ministry of tourism until recently. All right. So if you want to look at the beginning of GTA, that's long ago. I mean, if GTDC was established in 1972, you can imagine when the GTA was established. It's been a long time. Yeah, the GTA was a long time ago.
But it was GTB before.
Yeah. So when you look at entity, when entity started, it's not when they changed name.
Okay.
All right. Commencement of business is different from when a brand name is changed.
I think what Jesse is
So what
reading
is on
is
the-
when
so what is
when
on
it
the-
became an authority with the act.
Yeah.
Acts-
So not when it was established. It's
So
when it became
it's
authority.
it's correct.
The
yeah,
transition.
the Act 811.
So it's correct.
2011.
That's when it became authority.
Yeah.
not when it was
No,
established.
so but I'm just saying that. So it's correct. That is
one?
because it says that the GTA was established.
No.
Okay.
It's not established.
I'm reading what's on
On
their
the
website.
Website.
So maybe
Then
we need to
that's-
challenge
Then
them.
the website was.
It says that
actually
the GTA was,
cut
if I
wrong.
may, the GTA was established in 2011 as the Ghana Tourism Authority under the Tourism Act 817.
817.
So it's on the website. So if they are wrong, I'm wrong.
The one who wrote the English is wrong.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, because established as in when it came into being cannot be 2011. But it changed from
No.
board
It
to
says
authority.
the GTA,
The A, Ghana Tourism Authority.
Ghana Tourism Authority, was established in 2011.
Then it means prior to that it was Ghana Tourism Board.
Prior to
Yeah.
that, it was Ghana Tourism
you
Board.
see? You see?
But I understand. I think you are saying the same thing.
No,
different-
the point I'm making is that when a company, companies change brand names, for example, all right? So if you take, let's say, for discussion, if you take APSA, all right,
From
they
Barclays.
will tell you that, the origination period is not when the brand took over, all right? So they will date you back to when, and
It
then
was
when they
Barclays.
transition to. Usually that's what it is.
Okay.
No, but Prof,
Yeah.
I understand. I go along.
I think we have
I
a
go
lot to
along
talk
with
about.
Jesse on this.
Shall we?
Because
Yeah.
being an authority is different from being a board.
But that doesn't truncate how long you've been established.
Okay, this is actually
shall
a
we-
question for the authority.
Shall we
to answer.
move away from this?
That doesn't truncate when it was established.
Jesse.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
can you
That's
go
a minor
ahead?
stuff.
Jesse, can you go ahead with your submission?
I actually have. I've really lost my chain of thought.
Now keep it intact.
No, but there's a question you asked.
Yeah.
Yes,
You asked.
okay.
Number of
okay.
questions that I
said-
did
So
answer.
let's do this.
How does it
Let's do
plan
this, right?
to
Let's do
attract
this.
the right
Let's do this.
investment? Okay.
Let's do this.
All right.
3 weeks ago. So let me synthesize it.
All right.
3 weeks ago, we made a point here that the NDC manifesto is very clear that it seeks to address 3 key things. One of them was investment attraction.
All right.
If you take a look at the GTDC mandate as put forward by the new CEO, that attraction is part of his mandate. I think, in my view, we've always used platforms like this to amplify the support that we are looking for. So then, in my view, how are you working collaboratively with the other players to address this problem? And I think, in my view, that's for me is the biggest monkey you have. And again, when I say monkey, my previous boss would say everybody must carry their monkey, or warrior carry. So in my view, that's the biggest monkey you have. The second one is that I think it's important that we understand this whole concept of equitization. That's part of your mandate. The third one for me is that I feel that if you say that you've had a cross-sectorial strategic session, not just a meeting to say meet this person, but you've had a strategy session of a sort, then what's the role sought? Is it properly defined? Are we clear in our minds? Because our good friend Rex Omar, as an example, is in Kumasi now, having a conversation
met with the regional minister earlier.
With the regional minister.
Yeah.
KOD has a clear focus on the diaspora space, and the Black Star experience is a key part of the things that he's doing. GTA will be driving, according to them, promoting and attracting tourists into the country. And so the big question is that the platforms and the plans that you have, how do we synthesize all of this? So if you say that the meeting has been had, then what does it look like, and how is your role properly defined so we can help? The final one for me is this: that one of my brand conversations with Prof, he had put forth something that I thought was really brilliant, and he had made a point that the private sector treats the people who give them money as customers. When somebody is your customer, you treat the person as such. Chief Moment treats his people as customers. Yeah. So he provides quality service. So in his mind, he opined that government at some point ought to be able to treat the people not as citizens, but as customer citizens. And the more you treat them as customers, you value them better. Now, Prof, I'm hoping that beyond that beautiful lecture, now that you're in the job now, you are carrying that same thinking into it. So please try and speak to these five things for me, and I'll be very, very happy.
Okay. So Prof.
You would have to be reminding me of the question is,
I think the very first one that he asked was, how do you plan to attract the right investment?
Mm-hmm.
That's the very first one.
So firstly, let me say that, and it ties in with the collaboration with the agencies.
Okay.
So I have written to GTA to give me what we call the tourism investments profiles. The tourism investment profiles of each region. So, for example, when we take Greater Accra region, what is the tourism profile? I.e., what's the percentage of leisure do we have? What's the percentage of eco-tourism do we have? What's the percentage of? And then again, how many beds available? All right, when you take the accommodation sector, what's the total beds that we need to have? Okay, let's say 10 million beds, but we have 5 million. It means there's a shortfall of what? 5 million, all right? So we're getting that profile in order that we can say region by region what the opportunities are, and then present it to the investment world, i.e., if I'm going to South Africa, Meetings Africa, for example, I can say Ghana needs a total of 1 million beds, but we have, let's say, 800,000. We have a shortfall of this amount. So we need investors who can actually plug in, all right? Ghana has 80% of, let's say, heritage tourism, all right? And then, let's say, 20% of that. Those who are interested in heritage tourism, they can actually plug in. So we need to have a total investment profile within the tourism space. And that's one of the things that I am actually creating, all right? To have a tourism, investment profile, to be able to tell people that this is what I remember I told you about Professor Wosunu's proposal when he came to meet me. And that's one of the things that we are doing. We are profiling places. Some people send me places in Peki, apparently there was a tunnel connecting two villages. In those days when they used it for war.
Okay.
There is a palanquin that belongs to this man, Lawrence Lawrence Wolf, all right, that is there. There is a Kwame Nkrumah residency in Peki, for example. There is in Kulinu, the great, woman investor, entrepreneur. So these are the things that we need to collect region by region, the available things that people can invest in and can bring in the attraction. So I'm collecting that profile. All right, that's one. Two, I'm building when I say I'm referring to my office.
Office,
right? Ghana Tourism Development Company. Under the auspices of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. As I said earlier, we're building this Ghana Tourism Marketplace with GTA to make sure that we can actually plug in accommodation, rentals, restaurant, the craft people, theater, so that we can have a holistic view of the inflows, into the system. And so when I talk about collaborative, comprehensive, this is what I mean. An example. And then you asked about strategy session, right?
Yeah.
I actually pointed and I said, how would you know that we haven't had that? So what I mean is that we meet as a sector. We meet at the ministry. The recent one was when we met to create or to actually discuss what our session of the SONA should be. All right, and we had that conversation. So there is a very collaborative way of working, within government ministry section. You might not have it as you do in private sector, because obviously they are two different entities. But certainly there is that collaboration that happens. You might not call it a strategy section, because by strategy section, you can say that perhaps department must submit their strategy, etc. We have been called upon by not only the ministry, but SIGA, that is the State Interest and Governance Agency. Is it agency or authority?
I think it's an authority.
Authority. To submit our working plan, all right, for the next, year. And the same call had been done by the ministry to submit our working plan. So definitely they are not working in silos. So that's what I wanted to, clarify.
Jesse, has he answered everything?
He's answered.
Okay.
Just one question.
All right.
Maybe at some point it'll be good to know exactly what level of investment you need. Whether it's, in my view, because
I can tell you immediately. Currently, I need 50 million. And seriously, I've actually costed every of my product and services. Oh, cities for the start, and I'm going to my shareholders.
So that's part of what you need.
50 million.
So that's part of what you need.
I have 1 month sat down to cost every product, every project, everything, and I need 50 million.
This includes the forts and castles?
No, it's not under me. That's GTA.
That's GTA.
So this 50 million covers what?
That is GTDC's programming. So we have our site. You see, that's the misunderstanding. We have 3 sites. Currently, we have 3 sites, as in Asemanso. We have the Big Tree, and there's the name that I cannot mention. Ajunwoma or something. There's a name I can't pronounce it right. That. And then, of course, there are other places that we're working on, but we haven't actually, like the Center of the World, for example. Kojenchi started the Center of the World thing. We're trying to work on that. There are other things, like I said.
The Marine Drive?
The Marine Drive is a big thing.
It's not under the GTDC?
No, the Marine Drive is a comprehensive project.
Okay.
It's a GTDC.
So this 50 million is to help promote the 3 sites plus
the other products that I'm developing. Exactly. You see. Okay. So that one I can tell you immediately if you can help me raise the 50 million.
All right.
The site Asemanso, the Big Tree.
That's the Slave River site.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And which one were you not sure about?
Ajunwoma. Is it Ajunwoma? There is a name. I hardly can pronounce it.
Because there's
Chief, you want to say something?
Yeah,
you want to?
We haven't, kind of finished developing it.
Oh, okay.
It's a receptive site. We are still on it.
Okay, Chief.
Yeah, great submission so far. I think we have to ask our question: do we want to be good or we want to be extraordinary, right? Because I feel that with the likes of Kobby in place, the way the industry has been growing, the administration, when it comes to its tourism, art space, would be fairly good, you know, with all of those they've put in place, But my question is that, do we want to be good or do we want to be extraordinary, right? If we want to be extraordinary, then we have to be willing to go the extra mile, in many ways. And I just wanted to example of what Prof said and how, government must stimulate the economy, right? For example, if he made the case about hotels that, if he does the research and he's able to show that, okay, there's opportunity for more beds, here, in this region, he can go and sell it. We have to reinforce Ghana's top of mind awareness globally, right? Imagine he had that data and he's going to some fair somewhere to sell that opportunity, and those that he's pitching to are already seeing some serious Ghana advertisement and branding. They've already seen a Morgan Freeman doing like a voiceover for Ghana somewhere. Those little things, it connects the dots, it creates record. It's okay, it shows that this is a country that is serious about tourism. And for me, I know that currently we're not even ready for the numbers. If we had, for example, 2 million people coming through our country right now, we may end up disgracing ourselves. We're not ready for the numbers. We have to give ourselves a year or two, right? But for me, what I think is that if we're able to show that there is demand, everything else follows, because business people are looking to make money, right? That's why even when you go to the most terrible war zones, mining is going on, mining for our gold, our oil, in Congo today, that's one of the most unstable countries in Africa. Serious extractive mining is going on because there's money to be made. So when there's money to be made in an industry, you can use that to unlock a lot of opportunities. So if government, number one, through its major marketing effort towards a particular target, is able to demonstrate that we're expecting X number of people, these people will need places to sleep, they will need shows to go to, they will need places to eat. That data alone can be leveraged. Then you can, when you are pitching, you can say that, look, we're expecting X number of people, they need to be attending shows, we need venues. That is when a business person can sit there and say that, okay, if I build this venue that is staging this show on a daily basis, X number of people are able to come to my show. It makes a business sense. So that is how government actually helps to stimulate the economy, by stimulating demand. So for me, that is one of the most important things that this government can do, is to stimulate demand for our tourism. And they cannot do that without a serious marketing, strategy that they unveil with a serious budget. That is why I'm calling for $100 million budget just for marketing Ghana globally. Oh no, I don't want the 100 million. Let me be sure. Let me be clear. I don't want it. I'm just saying that if we're serious about marketing Ghana, government must earmark not less than $100 million just for marketing efforts alone, and another $100 million to begin logistics and experientials, and that alone will attract even more investment to activate. For 2 years, because I want us to launch this. Yes, so 70 for Ghana's 70th anniversary. If we start now, we have 2 years to build demand and 2 years to prepare for the avalanche.
Thank you, Uncle Ken. I'm coming to you before.
Yes.
Will that money go to?
But the agencies are there, so that's why strategically they can sit together and decide.
You said the agencies are there.
Yes.
So are you saying that amount of money
GTDC
should be?
says they do promotions.
Yes.
GTA says they do
Yes,
promotions.
GTA says they
ministry
do
do
promotions.
Yes, so that's why.
So which of them should the money go
that one the government must sit to.
Did you hear Kobby? Did you hear Kobby?
Yes.
He said they should give it to me.
Kobby will do a great job. Kobby will do a great job.
You see?
Yes.
Because you see, my issue is very simple. This agency of Kobby's is the agency responsible for the promotion and mobilization of resources for investment in tourism undertakings and services.
Yes, but that same English you will find everywhere.
Okay, so let me offer clarity.
Yes.
When we use the word promotion, you have to look at it from two perspectives. The GTA's promotion is not necessarily marketing promotion.
Okay.
It's about compliance, promoting compliance. All right. The GTDC's promotion is what you understand.
It's more commercial.
More
It's a
commercial.
commercial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the GTA is compliance promotion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you say you have to promote compliance,
Okay.
you see, you have to promote. You have to get people.
So
to
that's the
do-
difference.
Yeah. So
See?
so
See
that,
by heckling you small. Now the answer has come.
no. I mean, the answer would always. No, the answer would
No, I
always.
appreciate.
Yeah, the answer would always come, but of
I
course,
really appreciate
in
Kobby's-
comms, it depends on what question you
Yes,
ask.
yes,
and then
yes,
you see.
yes,
But
yes.
Kobby,
So-
will the other agencies accept what you are saying?
Of
Oh.
course, I mean, it depends on the person's understanding of it. You know,
I know Kwame
Because-
has been itching to
because
talk.
a regulator,
No.
is it a regulator promotes compliance? Are you with me? Now,
And-
when you look at the tourism industry, and then you look at what we call the NTAs, the National Tourism Agencies or authorities, globally, they do what GTA does. All right. So when you go to ITB, when you go to let's say what do you call it, Meetings Africa, you will find that Kenyan Tourism Authority is there. All right,
Yeah.
promoting Kenya. You find that Ghana Tourism Authority is there. You find that Botswana Tourism whatever is there. So within the tourism space, the NTAs do what GTA is doing. All right, in order that they can spur up tourism arrivals, but they don't do it for commercial returns.
Okay.
Do you get it? And that's why I'm saying that no, they're not supposed to, because they're not
That's
mandated
another
to.
way of-
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that the GTA's promotion, though you find the same word promotion in GTA and then you find the same promotion in GTDC, one is for compliance, one is for marketing. That's why I'm saying that clarity issue. So as you said, you will find the language everywhere. It depends on which agency are you and how you interpret it differently. Yeah.
Okay, let me come to Jesse, then I come to Prof, then we let him go, so we go for the next topic.
I'm picking
Yeah,
a
Jesse.
point from what Uncle Ken,
Yeah.
where he left off. When I was coming, I was listening to Doc.
Okay.
And don't call him Prof. Call him Doc.
Okay.
It's striking. Yeah, Doc is more striking. The professor feels like he's in the classroom.
Yeah.
He's in the classroom again. He said, Doctor. Yes. So
Yeah, that's
he said
right.
that we are deconstructing what the authority is supposed to be doing. Because the authority has not been doing that which it was supposed to be doing in the past.
Now, my place is not authority.
Okay, an agency.
It is.
Okay, so he's deconstructing what the agency is supposed to be doing. So my question again, to your point is, are the others doing same to reflect what you're doing? And again, if they are not, just so, because we will bring you back here in a year's time.
Oh, maybe this year. Later this year.
Absolutely.
As you're going, just glove up
Yeah.
and then throw some small punches. But we wish you the very best.
I'm grateful. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, Jordan 9.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z. Let's come to Prof to just give us his last words, if you like. What do you have to tell industry people?
Yeah. I think that we have the best time, I might say that the golden moments for us to get this industry hit the level that Mumin is talking about. Look, if you take Kenya, for example, and I think the last year or so, our rivals for Ghana was even higher than Kenya, but the return was more than us. All right. Obviously, there are quite a number of reasons. You know, they didn't even do that we did 1.3 the last time than us. But the problem was the currency. I mean, the spend. Ghana is expensive in terms of accommodation. Three things: in terms of accommodation, in terms of transportation. All right. Kenya's accommodation is not as hefty as ours. All right. And so, whereas we see a lot more spend in our space, all right, majority is not going to the reasons why the people came. We say that the travel bed, all right, definitely is some kind of natural for tourism. But the person didn't come here for travel. He came here for tourism,
Yeah.
right? So the ticketing is expensive because of, obviously, our airport charges, etc. The hotel is expensive. And certainly the food will be expensive because Majority of the raw materials are actually imported by the top hotels. All right. So we need to drive down the cost of tourism. And that's one of the reasons why, when you talk about the arrivals, one of the reasons why we probably might not get a lot more done, even when we pump in that money, it's because of the cost of tourism. You know, having lived in England for almost 20 years, people go to Magalo, all right? They go to Alicante. As cheap as £20, £20. You can get £20 and fly to Spain, all right? You can get a lot of the accommodation. Exactly. The accommodation is so cheap. You know what is expensive? The booze. Because the alcohol.
Yes. That's where the taxes.
Exactly. You see? So the point is that we probably have to find a way of driving down the cost of the things that are not the most reasons why the person comes.
Okay.
And then pushing the price into the reason why they came. That's one thing. Another thing is that we probably have to do the evaluation of our tourism supply chain. All right? So I say that when you go to our festivals, what can you do? All right? When you go to the theater stage, Moomin has costumes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, that one of the things that we want to do is that when you go to a festival, you should be able to dress in a chief cloth, like costume, and take photo.
Movement the experience.
That's it. Moving the experience. You know, so I should be able to set up you see, people should be able to set up marquees, all right, or stands,
Yeah.
whereby they can say, I do Dagbon costume, I do Ever costume, I do this, I do this. So if I come, I say, okay, dress me like I'm a Ghana, or a Ghana warrior. So you dress me a Ghana warrior. Each item I have to pay. So you give me the sword is $10 or $5. You put in the heavy thing. By the time I finish the full regalia, I've taken $50 or $100 from you. I take the photo. If we are family, we can dress as a chief at palace and then take a photo. I can ask you to give me a palanquin experience. So you put me in a palanquin, you drum for me for 10 minutes or 5 minutes. You take me money, all right? Experiential. So we probably have to do an evaluation of our tourism mix to bring in more experiential stuff. I mean, I'm sure when we seek permission from the traditional council, they will give us permission to do these things.
Great.
You know, so for me, we have the golden opportunity to make things happen. And these are some of the things. I'm not just saying that, it's some of the product that we're creating. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is the GTM, the Ghana Tourism Marketplace. That is the golden opportunity for us to do this. And I've already told my colleagues when we met the minister, and I made a passionate appeal. And the minister has absolute support for us. In fact, the inspiration that we get when we meet, it's amazing. All right.
Good.
And I'm saying that this is the time that we can do this, because there's a certain unity and a certain purpose and a certain aggregation of thought towards the Black Star experience, which is a continuous all year round activity. So when we get a needed support, and as I said, I need 50 million because I have to put down. I couldn't go and tell them that I need money. I needed to put thoughts on paper to show where we're going to spend. And we've costed everything, and we made projections for everything. Hopefully we'll get the money, and it will make things happen.
Thank you very much, Professor Kobby Mensah. Chief Min, 1 minute.
No, Prof has talked about the cost of tourism has been expensive in Ghana, and that's been one of the that's the pillars of what I'm actually conceptualizing.
Right.
But how do you bring down the cost?
Right.
And that's if government stimulates enough demand and there's enough traffic and government plays its aggregator role very well, you can actually aggregate those numbers and it will give you significant bargaining power to leverage, because hotels are now about 70% occupancy rates, the big hotels.
Yeah.
If you can get that to 100% plus, you can leverage that, to bring down costs in certain areas. So costing was very important to the Ghana travel bouquet idea that I was working on.
Exactly.
And it's something that I'd want to pick up with Prof. But you're invited to my show next week. I know you don't have money, but look for some 5,000 to buy tickets. For your entire office.
It's happening
Come and
next
experience
week.
some of the experiences that we should be curating.
National Theatre next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
As for profit, they won't make profit, but at least you come.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof. It's been great having Professor Kobby Mensah right here, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Development Company. It's Joe 99.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. Show brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink. We're not done yet. In a moment, we'll be talking National Film Authority. There are some issues brewing in the camp of NFA. When we come back after this, we get talking.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
You gotta know what you want.
If you're on Access, step up to Family and we'll up your shows to Compact. If you're on Family, step up to Compact and we'll up your shows to Compact Plus. And if you're on Compact, step up to Compact Plus and we'll up your shows to Premium. DSTV, your home of entertainment.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour.
Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Hits FM on Mondays at 5:30 a.m. and Joy Prime TV on Saturdays at 7 a.m.
Upgrades are nice, but stepping up is woohoo! Because when you upgrade with GoTV, we'll step you up to the next package. Upgrade today to get more than more with Step Up, where if you're on GoTV Plus and upgrade to GoTV Max, you'll get even more with GoTV Super. Get big value, get big entertainment, get stepped up to even more with GoTV. Upgrade today on the My GoTV app or visit GoTVAfrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. Offer ends 31 March 2025.
Still right here on Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z. Now, are you ready to get way more chances to win with Betway? Every single day you have the keys to unlock 5 free spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand a chance to win a massive 1 million Ghana cedis jackpot. So what are you waiting for? Log into betway.com.ga today and take your spin, all thanks to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Now, let me tell you about the Volta Adventure. Have you reserved your seat yet? Yes? No? Or are you waiting for last minute? Now, let me tell you that the seats are running out very fast, and trust me, you cannot get this experience of a lifetime anywhere else at this rate. I'm talking about the Volta Adventure being organized by your radio for discerning listeners, Joy 99.7 FM, this month of March, from 21st to 23rd of March 2025. With just 3,500 Ghana cedis, you get to experience the Bando Zip Line, the Tafia Tome Monkey Sanctuary, Mount Gemi, Amenjofe Waterfalls, and Canopy Walk, among others. And it also includes a 2-night stay at the Plush Volta Serene Hotel with Bobobo experience, a variety of local dishes, nightclub sessions, and a movie night. You also have access to the game room at the Volta Serene Hotel and loads of other recreational facilities at the hotel. That's not all. Patrons will cruise on the Dodi World with lunch and entertainment before we get back to Accra. And remember, you'll be refreshed on the journey with natural juices from a comfy. Woodin also has loads of fabric to give away, and every adventurer will be given branded Joy FM souvenirs. Yes, you heard it right. It's only 3,500 Ghana cedis for everything, all meals, accommodation, tolls, and entire experience. There are no hidden costs. Sign up now by making payments via Momo 0593038842. The Momo name is Daniel Boyfio. Just pay and reference your full name. Closing date for payments is 18th March 2025. 2025 is about showing up, and at DSTV we are ready to show up for our customers this year. How so? Upgrade your subscription to the next package between the 13th of January and 31st of March and get even higher package for a whole month, all on us. Yes, for free on us. So if you are on Access, pay for family and enjoy an upgrade to Compact to catch all the Premier League games. If you are on Family, pay for Compact and be upgraded to a Compact Plus for free to enjoy the best of the UCL and new exciting movies. If you're also on Compact, pay for Compact Plus and enjoy premium entertainment this season on us. There's nothing better than putting a little bit in by getting a lot out. Come on, dial *759# to upgrade now. Terms and conditions apply. Tomorrow is a Sunday. We'll be listening to the Pentecost Hour with the chairman, Apostle Eric Nyameche, 1:30 p.m. Make a date. In the meantime, we're talking NFA, but before we do that, there's something happening on Saturday at the National Theatre. The Mensah World, Mansa Musa is staging again. Those who were not able to make it the last time, this time you need to be there. Chief Momin.
Yes.
So Saturday.
Yes.
It's happening again.
Well, let's start from this evening. This evening, Women at Work by my brother Fifi Coleman.
Okay.
Is showing at the National Theatre.
Great.
So this evening and tomorrow evening at 7 p.m.
Awesome.
Women at Work. And then next week, Saturday, we're bringing back the great rerun of Mansa Musa and the Trail of Lost Gold. Probably our last show within the season. So we're encouraging all of you to come and see. It's a beautiful production. It's a powerful production, taking you through a great experience of ancient West Africa. So we're doing 2 shows next week, Saturday, 15th at 3:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. So you have to watch it. We're taking it around the world. So make sure you catch it here before. And you can go to www.demansahworld.com for information on tickets. www.demansah, so there and Mansa, MANSA world.com for ticket. But it's a fantastic production and it's a family-friendly production. So we're encouraging people to come out with their children, with their friends and their families to watch. And we have family ticket packages available to come and see it.
What are you going to do in Paris tomorrow?
Oh, yes. So, the Mansa World, we've been working over the years for a partnership with UNESCO. And so we're finally doing a signing ceremony at the UNESCO headquarters. It's a big endorsement for the project, actually. Yeah. It's a partnership that has been in the works for many years. And so tomorrow I'll be flying out to Paris, God willing, for the signing ceremony with UNESCO. I'll be back in time for the show, though. But it's a big endorsement. It's to leverage UNESCO's platform to promote the work that we are doing, to promote African history and heritage on the global scale. And so it's a very proud moment for the team at the Mansa World.
Lovely. Now time for us to talk NFA issues. So last week, Sunday, or this week Sunday, 2nd March, we saw this post on the Facebook page of Juliet Yasanto Asante, who is the former executive secretary of the National Film Authority. Quite lengthy. Let me try and read. Today is one of the happiest days of my life, and this is why. Take a seat. In November 2020, when I was asked by the minister to take the job of the executive secretary of the National Film Authority, I accepted. Little did I envisage that was what was to follow. With a paper in hand but no office or money, I set out to recruit staff. With 2 staff members, we started the work. I took time to draft a strategy paper, but it became very clear very quickly that no one was interested and that this was going to be a very, very long road. In the first year, we were given 1,000 Ghana cedis for the entire year. Second year, 10,000 Ghana cedis. Neither me nor my staff received pay for 2 years. We had no shoulder. We had to shoulder the costs of running a government office from our pockets. We worked from my home or the homes of other staff members. There was absolutely no one to show us the ropes of how to set up a new government agency, and while we were struggling to understand what to do and what not to do, I was dealing with a very antagonistic board that told me upfront that I wasn't who they wanted. The first activity we tried to do was to gather data to understand the sector and problems we were dealing with. This activity was blocked by the board, and almost everything after that was challenged or blocked. The board meetings were a sight to behold. Thankfully, the COVID video took off, and many Ghanaians found solace in the beautiful video, giving hope to many, without realizing that it was from the newly formed National Film Authority. Filmmakers contributed the video for free. By then, though, the attacks were non-stop, online, offline. Gosh, there was a day I was attacked for 5 hours by a 13-member board and screamed to keep quiet and screamed at to keep quiet when I tried to explain the situation, and insulted 2 weeks without any breaks on 3 WhatsApp pages. At the same time, my mother was dying and the hospital bills were killing me, while I had to be buying lights and paying for office printing, transport and paying for event out of pocket, etc. It was those days that we did the pitch series. It became very clear to me very quickly that if we were to achieve anything, a complete tunnel vision was needed. Complaining was never my style, and explaining or going on radio stations to confront untruths was not the answer either. I didn't have the mental space. I was fighting a war outside and having earthquakes at home. My own tribe was eating me up, and I had to play psychologist to my perplexed team. They just couldn't understand the massive hate. In 2022, we all got our first salaries, thank God, but money was still so tight, and we still had inadequate office space, no car for work, nothing. Even the machines used at the office were personal to many of us. Everything you have seen online was edited on my personal machine. Last Friday, Madam Kafri Dankun was announced as a new executive secretary. Congratulations, Madam. I wish you all the success. I remember vividly a day when I was caught between 2 male bosses. One lifted me up bodily and shoved me into the arms of another, insisting that I give him a hug. The latter hugged me and made the comment, "Maybe I'm the one who will marry you one day." That night, I scrubbed myself until my skin was tender. I scrubbed. Okay. Scrubbed? She wrote SCUMMED. Okay. Until my skin was tender, I felt dirty. I am 50 years old and I have just lost my job. So I can afford to say this: may another woman never suffer this. Or should I speak about the woman that called me stupid and all manner of things I can't say here and banged the phone on me simply because I tried to do a good industry event? My staff held my hands and told me to be strong. May a woman never do this to another woman. I recently heard someone say about me, people just don't like her. Firstly, that's not true. Many people love me. But anyhow, I'm not here for likes. I am sure you don't like yourself all the time. Many are carrying some people's fights and buying hates they don't even understand. But thank you, I am grateful to you. Your dislike puts fire under mine. I love you. Because of you, I can't be lazy. I want to say a big thank you to many who helped us along the way. Some even bought flight tickets to help me travel to conduct government work. There are still staff volunteers that have never been paid at NFA, but they still continue to serve diligently. Recently, I heard someone say, "We are jokers." Well, let's joke a bit. Joker? I'll still start with a name dropping. I have 4 certificates from Harvard. I mentored at MIT, Legatum School of Business, and I am a Legatum and Aspen Fellow. Now go and research Mr. Joker, and it is your turn. Let's go. It's very long. I think for those of you who may have read this, but we have in the studio the president of the Film Crew Association of Ghana, FISAC. His name is Samuel Jando joining us, and he disagrees with some of the things that Juliet has mentioned in that post. So let's go straight to Samuel Jando. Sammy,
bro,
what's up?
Hey, I'm doing good.
I saw a post that you made, a write-up detailing the things that you think are not in tandem with what Juliet has written on her page. So I've read about 90% of her post already on air. Which ones do you disagree with?
Everything. I mean, what my concern was that, I mean, first of all, I've always want to, just as I said in my post, I've always want to refrain myself from commenting or saying anything with regards to issues with the NFA in public. I rather want us to do it internally and resolve it internally, which we've been doing it over the years. So for her to come out and spill out beans like this and say that the board was antagonizing her during her tenure of office, that's what pushed me for me to say, no, let me just set the record straight and bring all the issues to bear for all of us, for everybody to understand and see what went
There was no antagonism?
No, there was no antagonism.
There were no fights?
There was no fight. There could be, I mean, disagreements within board meetings, all right, but it is not a fight. It is not antagonistic. Definitely we'll disagree on some issues here and there, but it is not antagonistic. No, the board was not antagonistic. I would say that she was rather disregarding the board, because per this act, the board is the apex. The board takes decision. You bring your activities for the year and things you want to do within the secretariat and the industry at large. Then the board either approve or disapprove.
Okay.
So if you say the board, you were to do a data collection and the board block you from doing it, the board has the right to disapprove or approve it.
Did you block her?
We didn't. It is not block. I won't say block. It is not block.
But you did not assent to.
We did not approve to either go and do a data collection, because already there was even a data collection that was done by Commission on Culture, Creative Arts Council, at the time of Honorable Katrina Feku. So the board didn't want us to do a data. Nevertheless, if you want to do a data collection, the board is represented by various guilds and association of the industry, stakeholders of the industry. So if you want to do a data collection, discuss with the board, because they are representing the same people you are going to seek data from. So discuss with the board, let the board go and meet with their constituents or associations and guilds, collect the data, bring it to the NFA, then we proceed from there. Nevertheless, but that is not the issue. The board may approve or disapprove or anything that you want to do. So the board was not any antagonistic.
Did you have financial difficulties as NFA, as an authority?
Well, I mean, it was a new authority that was formed by the government, or that was established by the government. So there wasn't like a seed money for the authority. And the time that the authority was established, it was in December 19th, 2019.
Yeah.
And that time, I mean, finance minister has already done their budgets and all that to the ministry. So obviously, if there will be any funding for the authority, it will be a budget from the ministry that will just give you some of their budget for you to run the office. But there wasn't an initial startup budget for the authority. But as time goes on, we also major events like film summits, presidential pitch series, all those things. There was money involved. Where was it from, the money? It was
money from where?
I'm saying that there was a major event, such as
the presidential film pitch series,
film summit, and all that.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that there wasn't money involved. There was funding involved, of which even the board has no idea of how money was involved.
I want to understand you better. If you say there was money involved, meaning some people donated, or the government.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where the source of money came from, but in her post, she was saying that there was no money given to her to run the authority.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that if government did not give you money, where did you get money to even fund presidential pitch series, film summits, and other major events that was done by?
Did you ask her how she was able to get money for all that?
That's what I'm saying. That so even a typical example like film summit.
Yeah.
Film summit, that was last year. Last year, it was brought to the table of the board.
Was it the Africa Cinema Summit or the Film Summit?
Is it African Cinema Summit? Yes.
It's a cinema summit,
yes,
rather.
African Cinema Summit. Africa Film Cinema Summit.
It's a cinema summit.
Whichever way.
So
it was brought to the board for discussion, and the board agreed that or instructed you that okay, give us a report of the previous one. Let's understand what's benefit that it came to the industry, government too as well, and how the process, the funding and other things. Let us understand. Give us reports. Let us understand before you can proceed to the next edition. As we sit here, if maybe tomorrow or the new executive secretary, which is Kafu Dango, that will give us the report, I don't know. As we speak, the board did not have a report on that. So if you ask me that, where was the funding? I have no idea where the funding came from.
Did the board also make efforts in helping find funding for the operation of the office?
That's what I'm saying, that funding as in for operation of the authority, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So in the previous years or within 2020, budget was read for GOG, and then at least an allocation of budget was given to the authority. But as to whether there's a difference between budget and then releasing it for the authority to run. So even a budget was given, all right, but then to run the authority, if you ask me as a board member, I wouldn't know because I don't have any financial reports for the year to know that okay, it may be GOG gave this amount of money to run the office for the authority.
Okay, so as we speak now, you don't know for a fact which monies she received.
Yes, I don't know for a fact.
But you're assuming that she may have gotten money from
definitely.
government
From
and
GOG.
she's not account.
I will assume that because where did you get money to run such an event, such a major event, which GOG was part of it? The ministry was there, president himself was even there as well. You understand?
Okay. So which other issues did you have with her write-up?
Oh, just like I said, you antagonizing the board, antagonizing you was a major thing that I feel that that is not the real picture of what happened throughout the years of the existence of the NFA and the board as well.
Okay.
The board sits and discuss and agree on certain things before you know other things are being done out there.
Well,
Okay.
let me get to Jesse, then I'll get to Uncle Ken. Jesse, you don't. Okay.
No,
All right.
I know. I yield.
No,
I said it
also
first.
use
I yield my
my
time
time
to Uncle Ken.
Yes.
It's a very,
The time
very-
is.
No, I have a reason for yielding my time
Hey,
to Jesse.
people are yielding.
Yes, because this matter with the NFA,
Yeah.
I have so much.
So we can't do that within the short time.
No.
I think he should come back so we
Yes.
have ample time to
Yes,
get into it.
because this is a serious.
Because when I mentioned board, Jesse was no, the board.
it's a
doesn't.
serious matter.
So-
but Jesse has
No,
something to say.
No, Uncle, I beg. See,
No,
okay,
Jesse,
so
please.
look,
Yeah.
one thing.
Yes.
Okay.
In my view,
Yeah.
we should dedicate one show-based program
We will do that.
to invite.
Juliet.
No, not Juliet.
Okay.
See, you need to have a PFMA conversation on this show, because public financial management is very important, and you need to have that conversation on the show. Number two, there's a reason why GIMPA, as an example, was established. You also need somebody who understands public management and its administration to be on the show, especially more so when we have new CEOs now going into offices.
Exactly.
It's important that we don't just do show-based also, but leadership is also show-based. So in my view, I don't want to speak to this issue of who said what, when, and how.
No.
But just to recommend that it will be important to have a PFMA conversation on the show, and two, maybe let's get a public management person
Good.
on the show to speak to us about integrating, surviving, and going through the mail within the public sector space. I think it's very important.
Very important. So I think the time is very limited. We need to have ample time to discuss this. So,
Yes.
Samuel, you'll be back. But before you go, are you still on the board? Is the board still...
Okay, so per the public service thing, when there is election,
Yeah.
so all boards cease to hold until the new government.
Because the write-up you made, you wrote board member.
Yes.
Under.
In the previous.
No, yeah, so board member.
Of National Film Authority, yes.
Yes, so somebody was asking when we did the artwork, is he a former or is he still
Yes.
a board member?
So that's what I'm saying. So
Okay.
we're board members, but then once there's election, all boards cease to hold
Okay.
until the president appoints new. Like that's a new appointment and
All right.
But Kwame,
Yes.
until the law is changed with with regards to representation,
Yeah.
since he's still the president
of the
of the association, if they don't change him, he will be back in the new board.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Do you
Per
understand what I'm
the-
saying?
okay.
Yeah. So he has every reason.
If his association does not change him as president,
as president,
he will still
or
represent.
as their rep
All right.
on the board.
All right.
Yes, he would still be the representative of the association on the board.
Okay.
And since he has previous experience on the board, he's entitled to speak on what happened
Okay.
in the past.
Sammy, let me give you the next 2 or 3 minutes to sum up all your concerns regarding the post.
So my concern is that whatever that was put out there, I would say that the board did not antagonize her. All the issues that the board has was governance breach, which the board wrote to the ministry to address various issues that we were having with the executive secretary and as a whole. So the board wasn't antagonized. The board did its work and make sure that whatever that you bring will be discussed and either approve or disapprove. There was a lot of governance breaches, which you said you don't have much time. I would have gone into it, but there was a lot of governance breach that's happened within the sector or within the setup of the NFA. So moving forward, I will entreat that His Excellency John Mahama will appoint a board chair that understands the industry very well. That is a renowned filmmaker who understands the industry very well. That will hold the board and then the executive secretary together for us to lead and work well and make sure that we get what we are looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Kwame,
And again.
before you go,
Yes.
I am very interested in this matter.
Yes, so we'll be back. It'll
because,
come back.
I think I even mentioned your name in the write-up.
In what write-up?
Mine write-up.
Yeah, he did a write-up.
did?
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Because I played a certain role.
Very vital role.
Yes.
Yes.
In the establishment of this. So please make sure you bring him back.
Great.
So
Okay.
we can discuss this matter to it.
All right, thank you. Joe 99.7 FM, a very big thank you to you, Samuel Jando, FESAC President, to you, Uncle Ken, to you, Jesse Japan, Chief Moomin, and then Professor Kobby Mensah. My name is Kwame Dadzie. It's been great having you here on Joe 99.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z. Show brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, superstar multi-fruit drink. Next week, Saturday, we're having Showbiz A-Z at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. We're having the Ghana Month edition. The theme is the journey of the Ghana people, the role in shaping tourism and the creative economy. And we'll be having as our resource people, Ni Kwade Intre. He's a Ghana cultural activist and poet. We have Francis Doku, tourism consultant, West Africa regional representative, Africa Tourism Partners. We have Emmanuel Niai Solomon, tour guide and tourism consultant. And then Gideon Asare, CEO of Adanse Travels. That's happening next week, Showbiz A-Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie, show produced by Philip Nye, Anita Tay. But there is a serious gridlock on the Bree Highway. We understand there are absolutely no movements, so we need the police to help direct the traffic there. Thank you very much for listening. Let me leave you in the hands of Sarkodie featuring Kwekwe Flake Messiah.